everybody. And as you spread your fingers, for a moment, could you rock into the hands and rock back towards the heels? Finding a little rhythm with your breath, inhaling as you come forwards, exhaling as you settle back. As you move, bring your awareness to your lower ribs, the lowest part of the ribs at the front. You can have this sense that they gently connect inwards towards the spine, towards the body as you move. So there's the suggestion of a slight support through the abdominals, through the deepest layer of abdominals, through transversus abdominis, those really strong corseting muscles contained at the front. Come back to all fours, listen closely. Tuck your toes, slide your right foot back, press the heel away, folks. You could pulse gently into the back of the leg, slow motion style. And now, start to bring your knee in between your hands. Listen closely, float the knee in towards your chest. Breathe here, scoop the knee in, push the floor away, your knee is off the ground. Group A, breathe here. Group B, take your foot now outside your left knee, so you're crossing the thighs. In group B and C, you might start to sit back towards the hips. Your thighs are now crossed. We'll do it a couple times if you're not sure. Come back forwards, knee between the hands, and then take your foot straight back to the back of your mat. Bring your knee in towards your chest. Group A, hold here. Group B, cross the legs. Take your right foot outside your left knee, and then sit back towards the hips. One more time. Take the leg straight back, all the way straight and the leg out. Come back to center, maybe crossing the thighs or holding. So you get a little bit of cross through the upper thighs. Come back to center. From here, walk your hands forwards a few inches, then pull yourselves down like a wave on the shore. Cobra, breathing in. Child's pose, breathing out. Come back to all fours. In second side, slide your left toes back, straight on the back of the leg. If it feels good to you, you could very slowly pulse into the back of the leg with control. And if you've remembered to keep the lower ribs connected, the belly switched on slightly, well done, it's hard to remember that. And if you haven't, don't worry, there's your reminder. Now, bring your knee between your hands, draw the knee in towards the chest, group A holding here, group B and C, cross your thighs, sit back towards the heel. Coming forwards, straight back with the leg this time. Knee towards the hands, towards the chest. Option to cross the thighs. Left foot outside the right knee as you sit back. And last time. Breath calm and steady as you move. Come back to all fours. Walk your hands forwards. Pour down to your mat. Cobra, breathing in. Downward dog, breathing out, folks. Walk it out. Have a little feel in this morning. How could you move in a way which feels fluid, organic, movement like a symphony or an orchestra, all connected, working together. Start to stabilize your down dog. And as you inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, big step forwards, back knee down. Anjali Asana, crescent lunge, the goddess of the crescent moon, fingers lifting. And today, circle the arms back, folks, 3 times. Yes, Renata. This time, take your hands down around that front foot. Can you step your left hand out off the edge of your mat? Lean into the left hand, lift your right hand up. And now listen closely. Option to roll to the outside edge of that right foot, opening the hip. Wherever you are, circle the top arm. Like you could create a portal or a vortex. Creativity, the fundamental expression of life. This time, take the hand, rest it at your sacrum. Group A, breathe here. Group B and C, option to bend your back knee and catch the foot. If you have the foot, press it away, lift the chest. The heart in the ascendant, rising skywards. One more breath. As you exhale, return your hands, step back, plank position, folks. Vinyasa, that could be on your knees or chaturanga. Downward facing dog. On your next inhale, the left leg rises, searching skywards. Exhale, soft step forwards, knee down. Anjaneyasana, goddess of the crescent moon, circling the arms back 3 times. The breath smooth and full and rich. Return your hands down. Again, step your right hand off the edge of your mat and lean into the hand. Left arm comes up. An option to roll to the outside edge of that front foot as you circle the top arm. In the yoga tradition, we often talk about something called Shakti. Shakti, there's great creative energy, divine energy, the forces of life, of creation and destruction, all in cyclical harmony. Take your hand towards your sacrum. Option to catch the foot and press the foot away. Or maybe resting here, breathing deep. So it's the heart lifting, rising upwards. Begin to return the hands, plank position, flowing through either knees down or chaturanga. Downward facing dog. We're going to keep flowing, folks. Right leg lifts, breathing in. Big step forwards, high lunge this time, all the way up, rising, arms lift, heart lifts. Circle the arms 3 times. Minding any furniture that there may be. After your 3 fingertips lift, gather the palms in towards the heart. So palms come together, breathe here. With the palms together like this, start to open the fingers out, keeping the bases of the palms together, lotus mudra. So hands in the position of the opening lotus. And simply turn to the right, revolve around your spine. Take a full breath in here, stabilizing, ribs moving down and in as you exhale. Inhale back to center with your lotus. Exhale, warrior 2, opening out. Together, reversing breath in. Hands to the ground as you breathe out, step back, vinyasa, building a little heat now, flowing through to your downward facing dog. In your down dog, send your sitting bones way up, lengthen your spine, folks. Left leg rising on your next inhale. Exhale, step it forwards. High lunge, relift. And circling. Look at your whole spine move with this. Organic, complete, creative movement. An expression of Shakti, of the energy of the universe through the movement and the breath. Palms gather from the sky into lotus mudra. Fingertips opening, searching for sunlight like the flower. As you turn to the left, holding here. Straighten your back leg, more than you think. One more breath. Beautiful, everybody, I see you. Come back to center, warrior 2. Inhale, reversing. Exhale, hands down, vinyasa, step back, flowing through, take your time. We'll all meet in a downward dog.
So, options. Group A, you might breathe in child's pose or dog. Group B and C, option for dolphin. You could lower the forearms to the ground. Yes, Adriana. If you're in dolphin, send your sitting bones way up. Keep lifting your sitting bones, Belen. Yes. And can the breath be steady wherever you are? Smooth. The breath, which is life, expression of creativity in every moment, every breath. Start to find your down dog, folks. Take a big breath out, clear your lungs, lion's breath. Twice more, let your week go. Empty it out. Last time, lion's roaring. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Pause. Bend the right knee and open the hip to the side of the room. Option to stay here, or group B and C, you might lower your left forearm to the ground. If the left forearm is down, press to the elbow, press to the palm. 2 more breaths wherever you are. Strong arms. If you're on the elbow, come back to your hands. Big step forwards. High lunge, we rise united. 3 circles. This time, start to sweep the arms forwards and up. The spine moving a little bit more. Palms rise now. Gathering lotus to the heart, lotus mudra. Turn to the right. Come all the way back round to warrior 2 straight away. And could you reverse? Palm lifts. Pause here, breathe. Straighten your front leg. Straighten your back leg and lift. Those of you who like micro details, that top arm, wrap your tricep inwards, like you're trying to send your right shoulder blade into your right armpit. What would that be like? Can you spread the shoulder blade out? And now back to center, Trikonasana. Reach forwards, go long. The hand flutters down gently, top arm lifting. Spread the toes. If you like, you might imagine you could draw up energy, power, prana from the ground through your feet. Like you're sucking up energy and strength through the legs and up through the spine. 2 more breaths here. Start to release back to your warrior 2. Take your hands to your hippie hips. Step your back foot forwards, 1/3 of the way for pyramid pose. The hips turn to face forwards. Both legs lengthen. Group A, hands are on your hips. Group B, catch the forearms. Group C, reverse prayer. As you inhale, lift the chest. As you exhale, offer the heart forwards. Draw your right hip back. As tempting as it is to go low, could you go long instead? Draw your right hip back, take your heart forwards, strengthening your right hip. Continuing to breathe. Yes, Keisha. Yes, Emma and Tracy. Keep drawing the right hip back. A little bit more, Natalia. Right hip back. And Rosie, right hip way back. From here, start to release. Take the arms overhead. With the arms overhead now, bring the hands out to the sides, kind of in a sort of balletic position, fingers turned up. We're going to step the back foot forwards, which will be the left one, and bring the knee up. As you bring your knee up towards your chest, open the hip and flex the foot. From here, start to bend the standing leg and send your hips back. So you're squatting slightly. Those of you who've ever seen the beautiful statue of Shiva Nataraja, the dancing Lord Shiva, he stands in this position, dancing in the middle of the cosmos, in the middle of creation and destruction, serene and poised. 2 more breaths. Calm the breath down. From here, warrior three, leg and arms come back. Expand and lengthen. Really reach your fingertips back in this first variation. So draw the shoulder blades away from your ears. Beautiful. Yes, Ken. Yes, Lucy. That's it. Point your back toes, Anna. Yeah. From here, start to come to stand. Shake out that right foot. It's worked, right? We're going to give that right foot a break for a moment. Shift your weight into your left foot. Then bring your right knee into your chest this time. Listen closely and follow me. Take your left hand to the hip. And now take your peace fingers down to the big toe of the right foot. You could catch the ankle or the big toe. Now stand really tall wherever you're holding. Group A, you might hold here. Group B, you might lengthen a little bit. Group C, you might lengthen a lot of it. But keep your chest lifting, whichever variation you're in. Standing really tall. Each time you breathe out, could you send your lower ribs down and inwards? Almost corseting through the abdominal area. Beautiful, everybody. Release the foot back, high lunge. Vinyasa pouring through. Squeeze your elbows in towards your waist as you lower. Cobra or upward dog. Downward facing dog. Breathing here. Again, you have options. Group A, you might be in child's pose or dog. Group B, you could be in dolphin. Group C, you are in turbo dog this time. If you're new to turbo, watch me for a sec. In turbo, the elbows bend and they float 2 or 3 inches off the ground. Then you squeeze your elbows in very firmly towards each other, like you're squeezing a brick between your elbows. Your neck drops, your hips lift, and you hold. If you're in turbo, really squeeze the elbows in. And the elbows are off the floor if you are in turbo. So Eduardo, squeeze your elbows in more. They are magnetic. Another 2 calm breaths. Cat, send your hips up and back. Yes. Everybody, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 lines breaths, emptying it out. Breathing in, tongue out, exhale. And again. Empty what you don't need to the earth. Left leg rising as you inhale. Bend your left knee, open the hip. Group A, breathing here. Group B and C, option to lower your right elbow down. Press the elbow firmly into the floor and lift away from your shoulder. 2 more breaths. Calm the breath. Come back into your hands. Big step forwards. High lunge rising. And with a spine which is fluid, organic, circling. Like you could create a force field, a portal, a vortex, power surrounding you. Fingertips lift, palms come together, lotus mudra. Steady in the seat of your power, turn to the left. Gently coming back now, warrior 2, expand out. And together, palm turns up, reversing. Straighten both legs and breathe here. If your right waist starts to feel compressed, how could you lift your ribcage up and away from your pelvis? So really lifting up and over. Yes, Steve. The space is there, we've just got to find it. Start to find your triangle, Trikonasana, lengthen the front leg and go long. Renata, lean back slightly. Yes. Lily, lengthen the back of your neck by dropping your chin in slightly. Yes. Turn your chest. Again, imagine you could draw up power from Mother Earth, prana, life, energy, flowing through the legs, flowing through the spine. How does that intention change your alignment? Can you breathe? And can you breathe deeply? 2 more breaths. Well held, everybody. Coming back out, warrior 2. Hands to your hips, like a Vogue cover model. Step your back foot forwards a third of the way to pyramid. Both legs are long. Really focus on drawing the left hip back. You could catch at the hips, the forearms, or prayer. As you inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, offer the heart forwards. Go long rather than low. Keep sending your left hip back. Your heart like an offering, reaching forwards. Strengthening the hip, as well as lengthening the hamstrings. 2 more breaths, folks. And here we go. Start to release. Take the arms up towards the sky and offer the arms out. The Lord of the dance. Big step forwards. Bring your right knee in. Open out. Flex the foot. You could bend the standing leg a little bit, sitting back, holding. So Shiva Nataraja dances in a circle of fire, symbolizing the creative and destructive forces of the universe. He has many hands. In one of the hands there is a drum, symbolizing time, rhythm, the never-ending cycle of birth and death. In another hand he has fire, Agni, symbolizing creation and destruction, life and death, all essential parts of our existence. Stand strong in your power. Warrior 3, folks. Back leg reaching, arms away from you. Building strength and endurance in the left ankle. Yasmin, go long, long, long. Ribs in a little bit, Ellie. Last couple of breaths. Heroic effort, folks. Start to step forwards. Give that a little bit of a shake out. And release. So this time, shift weight into your other foot. Bear with me a second. So you've just been on the left foot. Shift weight into your right foot. Give your leg a break. And then catching the big toe or the ankle with the left hand, right hand to the hip. Just making sure you're not doing the same leg twice. And sit tall, lift your spine. An option, maybe you explore lengthening the leg just a little bit, or maybe you straighten a bit more. Either way, sense that the lowest ribs are still connecting inwards, so you're not back bending, you're not flaring. The abdominal area is supporting you as you hold. And now elegantly step that foot back, high lunge. Vinyasa flowing through. Modifying in whatever way you need. Yes, Shadi, beautiful. So everybody, child's pose, taking 5 or more breaths. If it's comfortable, take your arms alongside your legs, fingers face the back of your mat. And on this idea of creativity, a reading from the Zen Buddhist nun and celebrity chef, Zhong Quan. She writes about creativity as this: creativity and ego cannot go together. If you free yourself from the comparing and jealous mind, your creativity opens up endlessly. Just as water springs from a fountain, creativity springs from every moment. If you free yourself from the comparing and jealous mind, your creativity opens up endlessly. So as you find your downward dog now, and you take 3 big lion's breaths, how could you empty out anything that's holding you back, the comparing mind, the self-critical mind? Could you exhale it out ferociously like a lion? Give yourself space to feel free, to be creative, to explore. On your next inhale, the right leg lifts. Big step forwards. High lunge, folks. Rising together. 3 arm circles. Sweeping back. Breath deep. This time, as your arms come behind you, Group A, keep your hands apart. Group B, thumbs. Group C, link fingers. Humble warrior, chest lifts. Exhale, fold down onto the thigh, arms lift overhead. In this version, the back heel is off the floor, so it's tricky to balance. If you want to make this tougher, float your torso off the front thigh, lower ribs in, 3 more breaths. Beautiful, everybody, staying with it. Begin to release out, high lunge. Gather the lotus to the heart, symbol of strength, of purity, as you open to warrior 2. Together, reversing. Side angle, folks. Elbow rests just above your knee. And today, circle that top arm. Could you cross it gently behind your lower back? Group A, check your front knee is above your front ankle, breathing here. Group B and C, you could lower the hand inside the foot today, or you could reach through and bind behind the thigh. If you're binding comfortably, option to straighten your front leg, turning the chest. Explore what feels good to you today. And wherever you are, connect your lowest ribs down and inwards towards the tops of your hips. Your tummy is on. 2 more breaths. Warrior 2. From here, find your high lunge. We're going to take a big step forwards and catch the big toe again. Right hand to your hip. And as you step forwards, catch the big toe of the ankle with the left hand. Option to straighten the leg and lengthen. From here, warrior 3, sweep the leg and the arms back, flying, reaching through. And beautiful rib containment, Michelle. I would expect nothing less. Yes, Florencia, lift your back leg a tiny bit more. Yes, 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 yes. And together, step to the front of your mat. Give it all a little shake out. So we're going to do something which is a little bit tricky and maybe new. So you might want to watch for a moment as I explain this. We're going to come to stand with the feet about hip distance apart, the weight in the right leg. Watch me first. So from here, I'm going to bend my left knee and take my left knee behind my right knee. So I'm going to cross my knees behind, left knee behind. Then I'm going to float my arms out and sit back. Group A will breathe here. Group B and C, slide the knee down the calf, sit your hips back and drive back up. Listen to your knees. Maybe slide the knee down to the calf, press back up. Keep your hips moving back. And then release, feet together. Yes, folks, full vinyasa. Inhale, arms lift. Arching back this time. Exhale, folding to the earth, bowing. Halfway up. Step or jump back, flowing through. All the way to your down dog. Take 5 or so breaths in a posture of your choosing. Do you need nourishment? Do you need fire? The choice is yours. And so the pose is totally optional, but the breath is not. Breath, deep, steady. A breath which has dignity and poise and depth. 2 more. How could our practice cultivate an energy which is of service to the world? An energy which creates, is inventive, is curious, delights in being alive. Start to find your downward dog. And your left leg lifts, inhaling. Big step forwards, high lunge coming up. Once again, 3 big circles sweeping. Arms float back, maybe linking, maybe not. Humble warrior, bowing to the earth. Tuck your left hip in, left sitting bone tucking in. Option to float your chest off the thigh, but keep your knee bent. So the leg is really working. Stabilizing the knees, 2 more breaths. Start to release. Gather your lotus from the sky, palms joining, fingers open. Warrior 2. Together reverse. Side angle, elbow rests. Top arm delicately behind the lower back or the sacrum. Really spread the mat between your feet. Strong legs, the legs are active. Maybe you lower the left hand, maybe you bind. And if you're taking the bind, really draw the left hip inwards. Option to straighten the front leg if you're binding. Sensing the chest turning to the sky. Lean back, Natalia, a little bit. Yeah. Beautiful, everybody. Starting to release. From here, high lunge. You ready to catch the big toe? Here we go. Left hand to the hip. Step forwards, catch the ankle or the big toe. Wobble, find your balance. And then maybe if you're straightening the leg, take the leg out, chest lifting. Even on your inhales, could the belly be ever so slightly contained? There's support, even on the inhale. Take that support into your warrior 3, sweep it back. And Keisha, leg a little higher. Yes, Ken, keep reaching the fingers back. Beautiful, everybody. From here, step to the front of your mat. Give it a little shake out. So again, we're going to take that tricky squatting position. If you're not quite sure, follow me again. This time we'll be on the left leg. The right knee will come behind or towards the back of the leg. And rather than going forwards, think about sending your hips back, arms out. Option to hover or option to slide the knee down and slide it back up. Like you're rubbing 2 sticks together, trying to make fire. And there's definitely heat. 1 more. Come to stand, full vinyasa. Inhale, we lift. Bowing to the earth. And flowing through, take your time. From your down dog, lower your knees, folks. We're going to take puppy pose to regather the breath. Toes tuck, hips stay above knees. Walk your hands forwards, take them quite wide for a spacious shoulder stretch. Straighten your arms, bring your forehead down, maybe to the floor. You've got lots of room, the elbows can come down. Maybe even the tip of the chin, but keep the weight in the arms. And take the effort out of the shape. Empty the effort. Let the armpits sink towards the ground. Creativity and ego cannot go together. Perhaps even that sense of freedom and ego cannot go together. Ego is helpful, helps us survive, but if we can soften it, how does that change our engagement, our way of living and enjoying the world and those around us?
Start to come back to all fours, folks. For a moment, we're going to come to a kneeling position. Right foot forwards, back knee down. If you have a brick or a book, grab that brick or book now. Don't worry if you don't have it. We're going to come kneeling into this position. It might be helpful to pad your back knee up by folding your mat over again. Rest your hands on your front thigh. Relax your shoulders back and down. And for a moment, lower your hips forwards and down, releasing through the top of the left thigh and the hip. The heart is lifting. And there can still be the sense of your lowest ribs drawing in slightly, so not quite flaring the lower ribs out, drawing them in, lifting the pubic bone up. Your spine long and free. From here, start to backtrack, sit back up, and now find your brick. We're going to take the brick in between the hands, holding it between the palms like this. Offer your brick forwards like a gift. You'll feel your shoulder blades protract, they spread. Now holding your brick carefully, take it above your head. Keep sitting tall. Group A, maybe breathing here. Group B and C, option to bend the elbows, take the brick behind you. But rather than dumping the brick into the neck like this, work to keep the forearms parallel towards the ground. Your elbows will probably want to flare out. Instead, squeeze them in towards each other, magnetic elbows, elbows moving in, chest lifting. Final option, lower back down to the hips, lift the heart. Begin to arch back slightly if that feels good to you. Another 3 or 4 breaths. That's it, elbows in, everybody. Find those external rotators. Yes, Anna. Yes, Steph. Yes, Caroline, elbows in. Beautiful. Start to release. Take your brick away for a sec. Slide back into your downward dog. You might give your leg a little wiggle if that's helpful. You could take a vinyasa if you want to flow through again. But in your own time, left foot steps forwards, no rush. And second side, hands rest on the thigh initially. It's always useful to check in these positions that your hips are facing forwards. Sometimes for some of us, they kind of like to turn out. The knee goes in one direction, the pelvis goes in another. If you've done a lot of ballet, that can happen. So instead, really focus on front knee above the front ankle initially, pelvis facing forwards. And then lowering down into the hip, right thigh lengthening. Sense if there's any tension in your shoulders, your jaw, and your neck. Could you release that for a sec, wiggle it out? Let the shoulders drop. And now start to backtrack, everyone. Find your brick or your book or your imaginary brick or book. It's really hard if you're imagining it. It's really tough to bring the elbows in, so fair play to you. Palms reach the brick forwards, shoulder blades protract, and then the brick comes up. Group A holding here, pressing the palms together. Group B and C, forearms parallel to the ground. Squeeze those elbows in towards each other, really draw them in. And you might start to lower the hips forwards and down.
Lift the elbows up, lift the heart up. Use that to access the upper spine. Yes, everybody, calm breath. Lower ribs gently contained, just a little. Fabulous, folks. Start to release. Take your brick away. And insinuate yourself back into down dog. And wiggle it out, or take a vinyasa if you want it. I want it right now, so I'm going to take one. You're listening inwards. There's the energy inside. Shakti, how does it want to express right now? Through nourishment, through dynamism. From your down dog, lower your knees. We are, of course, about to take dolphin pose. So, I invite you in dolphin to use a brick between your hands. If you don't have one, no worries. My preferred way of holding the brick is like this. Thumbs around the front edge, fingers spread, kind of pincer movement. And you'll bring the brick down onto your mat like this, forearms to the ground. Check your elbows are pretty much below your shoulders. That will help lift you up and give you space. Press the elbows and thumbs down, tuck your toes, and very slowly start to send the knees up, send the hips up. Your knees can totally be bent, but really stick your bum up, lift your bum up really high. Press the elbows down, press the hands down. Those of you who are talking about stiff neck, let your neck hang. Your neck is floating off the floor, your head is off the floor. Press the elbows down. You could give your head a little no. You're saying no gently. Maybe saying yes gently. And when you're ready, lower down, take a breather. So, optional variations. Group A, continue to practice this way, focusing on lifting your hips. Group B and C, alternative hand placement to play with, rather than palms down, palms turn up to face the ceiling. If you're doing that, you'll scissor the brick between the wrist and the hands, fingers spread really wide. What that looks like is, my palms are facing the sky, my fingertips are pressing down into the ground, and I'm going to lift up into dolphin again. And I'm trying to press my fingertips into the ground, even my thumbs, I'm trying to touch my thumbs to the ground. Sitting bones lift. Send your shoulder blades out like you're trying to get them into your armpits. So really broaden your upper back, lift your spine up towards the sky. And keep opening the hands if they are turned to the ceiling. Yes, Eduardo, eventually the thumbs touch the floor and your shoulder blades go wide, 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 wide. Hips up a little bit, Caroline. Walk your feet in a little bit. Release your neck down. Last couple breaths. Take a moment, take a breather, lower down. If it's helpful to take a big lion's breath out, go with that. We're going to come in one more time, folks. Those of you working with the palms turned up, take a moment to watch. So I know some of you are practicing kind of one-legged dolphin and forearm balance, so feel free to explore different variations you may have. All of those variations can be taken with the palms facing the sky. What it does is it stops you relying on your wrists and your hands so much that you have to work more from the upper back, which is always a good idea in inversions. So if your palms are turned up and you feel stable, you could lift one leg. If you're comfortable with forearm balance, you can totally take it from here, but really pressing the floor away, fingertips pushing down into the ground. So the fingertips need to be really, really active, which spreads your shoulders and stabilizes everything. Have a little play with it. And if you have a wall and you're using it, go for it. Yes, Giovanni, send the floor away like you mean it. Keep lifting away from the floor. Last couple of breaths. Everybody doing beautifully. Yes, Dominique, reach those toes. Everybody, child's pose or optional vinyasa if that's where your energy is, if that's the expression of Shakti for you right now. Honor that. Take a couple big breaths out, everybody. This movement of breath, of body, the fluids of the body. It's like moving prana or life, Shakti, energy, creativity. The practice freeing us up in so many beautiful and surprising ways.
Start to come back to all fours. So, once again, if you have a brick or a book, find your brick. What we're going to do is we're going to come to a kneeling position with the knees about hip distance apart like this. Then, I'm going to take my brick lengthways between my heels so I can sit down onto it. Now, if you don't have a brick, you could bring your heels a bit closer together and you could sit on your heels. That's one option. Or if you do have a brick, you could bring yourself down to sit on your brick in between the feet. Yeah, makes sense? We're going to hold here. If you like micro details, in this pose, Virasana, spread your toes wide and try to press your little toes down into the ground. So send your little toes down into the ground. Group A, rest your hands on your thighs, breathe here. Group B and C, optionally, lift your chest and take your fingertips back, maybe coming onto the hands. Group B and C, now lift your hips off your brick, tuck your tailbone under, under, and then sit back down and take a few breaths here. Group C, if this is really easy, you're not feeling much of a stretch here, eventually you can tuck under and maybe come down onto the elbows, at which point you might want to get rid of the brick. And if you're coming backwards, you will eventually be parking your bum in between your heels. That can be really intense though, so don't force it. With group C, you might be sitting down, laying back. And if you're really, really bendy, eventually tailbone tucks under and you can lie all the way down, arms overhead. Spending a little bit of time here.
Every few breaths, you might explore lifting the hips and tucking under. Breathing deeply, calm, slow breaths. If at any point it becomes too much for your knees, please come out, give them a wiggle and reset. Yeah. But really paying attention as more space emerges, bit by bit. Another 3 or 4 breaths here. Again, you might lift the hips, tuck the tailbone under even more, find more space. Maybe laying back, yeah. Beautiful, everybody. Start to wiggle your way out.
For a moment, remove any props you have. Let's come onto all fours. And kind of how we began, stretch one leg out behind you, straighten it, press the heel away. Give your knee a bit of space. And then switching sides, pressing the heel away. And now, finally, one last thing before we lie down. Camel pose. We're really well prepped for it, so it would be a shame not to explore it. I tend to fold my mat underneath my knees a second time to pad my knees up. We'll all start with the toes tucked, hips above the knees. Once again, your knees are about hip distance apart, and as an option, if you have your brick nearby, it can be really, really helpful to take your brick between the thighs, just above the knees, and squeeze it like this. So you can really squeeze your brick. Will change your back bends. But wherever you have, whether you have a brick or not, take your hands to your sacrum, fingers face down. Can you tuck the tailbone under, lift the chest up, press your hips forwards, squeeze your brick if it's there. Group A, breathing here. Group B, one hand to the heel and switching sides. Group C, both hands to the heels, send the hips forwards. If this is super easy for you, Group C, eventually untuck the toes, press the hips forwards, lift the chest. 5 breaths. Last breath or two, everyone. Beautiful concentration. I see you all. Yes, Aneka. Yes, Lucy. So, if you really want to take a second camel, feel free to explore that one more time. Otherwise, we'll meet lying down on the back. No rush if you want to take that second camel. Take your time. And the rest of us on the back, just taking a happy baby for a few moments, rocking out. You might have noticed that your legs, the muscles around your knees and hips have worked pretty hard today. So for a moment, you could bend your knees, give the legs a shake out if you're on your back. The arms a shake out. Release it all. It's a little bit like a trauma release exercise. If you've ever done that somatic work, you shake it out. Shake it out, shake it out. Those of you finishing your camel, coming to your back now, let's take a final twist, folks. Right knee into the chest, left leg long, or eagle in the legs, right leg on top. Optional. Either way, take the right knee over the body, twisting and releasing. And the breath expressing itself. Your breath, unique, individual, one of a kind, like a thumbprint or a snowflake, I guess. But each individual breath is also unique and one of a kind. No two breaths are ever the same. Creative energies of the universe, the divine energy of the universe, always expressing newness, curiosity, and the great circle of life. Beginning to switch sides. And those words from Korean Zen nun Jung Kwan, creativity and ego cannot go together. If you free yourself from the comparing and jealous mind, your creativity opens up endlessly. Just as water springs from a fountain, creativity springs from every moment, from every breath, perhaps.
When you feel ready, easing out, Shavasana, or a restful position of your choice. So Shavasana doesn't quite work for you. You could bend your knees and keep your feet flat. You could take your legs up a wall even, or onto a sofa, lifting the legs if that feels nice. And together, breathing in, emptying out. Each breath, an expression of Shakti, of life, of energy. And just another minute or two, inviting the body to release from head to toe tip. Searching through the body for those areas that could release further. So as we move towards meditation, as always, you have a choice. You might choose to stay lying down if that's where energy is right now, and that's where it wants to stay. You can stay lying down. However, if you feel sitting posture is calling you, just take a minute or so to deepen your breath, to make small movements. Taking your time to come to sit if that's where your energy is at. So as we begin our practice, today taking a practice which comes from the heart, kind of heart-based practice. It's as deep, as old, and as important as mindfulness, what we might call mindfulness. These heart-based practices, really helpful offering to ourselves and to the world around us at the moment. Sometimes called metta, or loving kindness or friendliness. So the practice, we offer certain phrases to different people or groups of people, maybe animals or beings. It's a way of connecting to our innate capacity for compassion. It makes us so distinct as creatures. It's this ability for compassion, for empathy. So whatever posture you are in, we'll begin simply by taking a deep breath in to mark the beginning of practice, and a deep breath out. As we begin, sense into the ground beneath you. It's the feeling of support or pressure, your body on the ground, or on something. Beginning to notice your breathing, feeling the sensations of your breath in the torso, maybe the chest or the belly. And becoming aware of the area at the heart, the area in the center of the chest, slightly off center. Now, my invitation is this. Could you bring to your mind the image or the face of someone or something who it's really easy to love? Maybe it's a friend or a family member, maybe a pet or an animal you had a close relationship with. Whether they're with us now or not with us, let's bring to your mind the image of their face. Now we'll offer that being simple phrases. We do this silently in our mind, so silently. In your mind, offering these phrases now. May you be safe. May you have peace. May you be healthy. May you be happy. Just again, may you be safe. May you have peace. May you be healthy. May you be happy. And now, if you like, you might come up with your own simple phrase to offer to this being, this soul. Something which feels true for you right now. Just gently repeating that in your mind to this person or animal or being. Really allowing yourself to feel into the heart space as you do this. What does it feel like to offer love or compassion or good wishes? So we understand in our own body clearly that when we give love, we receive it, whether that person is with us or not. They're there anyway, because we receive the love back. And now you might continue with this person or being or animal. Or if it doesn't feel uncomfortable, could you offer these phrases to yourself? If it is uncomfortable, continue with the person, the being that's easy to love. Otherwise, may I be safe. May I have peace. May I be healthy. May I be happy. You might rest your hands at your heart now as you do this. May I be safe. May I have peace, peace, peace. May I be healthy. And may I be happy. And if there's a phrase of your own that comes to mind that's true for you right now, you might also offer that. And as we slowly ease out of this metta compassion practice, you might release your hands back down if that feels good too. Taking a calm, deep breath in, full of life, prana, shakti, breathing out. Just as we close, I'm offering a final reading from the Sufi poet and mystic Rumi, who writes this: "Shut your eyes, so the heart may become your eye, and with that vision look upon another world. If you can step away from your need for self-approval, all that you do, top to bottom, will be approved. Shut your eyes, so the heart may become your eye, and with that vision, look upon another world." So, if you're lying down, starting to make small movements, just taking time to transition to sitting if you're doing so. As you find your seat, again, joining palms at the heart, or perhaps resting hands on the heart if that feels good to you. And bowing a little bit to the mystery that is experience, consciousness,
life in all its expressions and phases, just honoring there are still mysteries in the universe, right? Despite all we know, there's so much we don't. We honor that possibility as we move through the day. We close here, folks. Thank you so much. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace.